welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to show you my favorite eyeshadow palettes and eyeshadow palettes that I'm not a great fan of. They're kind of a disappointment to me. Now these are all the eyeshadow palettes I own, so I would do my ones that I really absolutely love and adore first, and then I'll do the ones that I really didn't care for or that don't really have much pigment or not blending well and blah blah blah. So without further ado, let's get straight on with this video. The ones that I really liked was her bronze palette and the burgundy palette and the Take Me on Vacation eyeshadow palette. These three eyeshadow palettes were her best ones she came out with. They are super pigmented, they blend beautifully, and not much bad things to say about this palette. Her burgundy palette, same thing, super creamy and pigmented. The colours all went well together, like it made sense, and you can create such a beautiful eye with this. And so yes, so another win. And her bronze palette. Her bronze palette, same thing, the colours work together. Like, I wouldn't take out a colour in this palette. They all work together to create an eye, and you can create a couple of different eyes with this. And again, pigmented, creamy, and really easy to blend. So that's that one. Next palette that I absolutely love is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. Palette is one of my favourite palettes. It's super pigmented, like all these colours are super pigmented. My favourite shade in this palette is Red Ochre and Cypress Umber, which is this guy here and this guy up here. I love the covering on it, so that's that one. Now, let's talk Morphe. I have the Morphe 35E palette, which is this one over here. I have the Morphe 35O, the Morphe 35N, Morphe 35F, Morphe 35K. Holy shit, almost dropped that on the floor. And my Morphe 35B palette. I've never ever had an issue with any of these. The colours in these palettes are all consistent. They're extremely pigmented, they're creamy and buttery, they blend seamlessly, and just the quality is brilliant. So 10 out of 10 recommend Morphe palettes. We have our Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. This palette smells amazing. It smells like peaches. Now, this palette is pigmented, it's creamy, it smells beautiful, it blends nicely. There's colors in here that I wouldn't necessarily use, such as Tempting, Bless Her Heart. Oh, those two are pretty much it. Next up we have the MAC in the Flesh palette. The matte shades are pigmented, they do show colour. However, see, the shade is different on the eye than what it is in the palette. However, it's a nice colour, so I guess in a way it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because it gives you, like, you think you're gonna get this colour on your eye and then you get like a different colour, but the colour is actually not that bad, so it's like, yeah, I don't know. Next I'm going to talk about the Queen, the Holy Grail, the Jeffree Star Beauty Killer palette. This palette over here is absolutely amazing. I freaking love this palette, and I freaking love Jeffree Star. Oh, when he came out with this palette, I was super excited. I was like, oh yes, queen, yes. So of course I bought it, and we have 10 shades in this palette, and as you can see, these pans are extremely big. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shimmery shades and 4 matte shades, and they're all really blendable. It's extremely pigmented. You get no patchiness whatsoever. Blends beautifully. Super creamy and buttery, and I love the colors in here. Like, it's not the colors you usually put in a palette altogether, but it's done well and they do work together, and there's nothing bad to say about this palette, so shut up and move on to the next one. Oh, good eyeshadow palettes. This is not really an eyeshadow palette, but I've put it in here. This is the Tarte holiday box, I believe they did last year, and it has 24 eyeshadows here, and whenever I travel, this is what I take with me. It's got eyeshadows, and I use the charcoal sketch for my brow, so usually I'll leave behind a brow pencil or my brow pomade and use this instead. It's one less thing I have to carry. And then I have my blush, highlighter, bronzer and contour all in here, and then in this little compartment here I'm missing the mascara and the lip gloss, but I replaced it with a waterline pencil, and it's got the eyeliner in it, and it's literally all I need for when I go away. So, and these eyeshadows are super duper duper pigmented. We have another Tarte eyeshadow palette. This is another one of their little holiday palettes. As you can see, it has a ginormous mirror. This one has 20 eyeshadows, I think. Wait, hold up. 20 eyeshadows in it. And you've got like 4 long ones and then normal. The pans are really big, or pretty big for an eyeshadow palette. Oh shit! I just scraped my nail through this color right here. Alright, these shadows are quite pigmented. We have a few shades that are just a little bit patchy, but if you keep working, oh hello. If you keep working it, it eventually does blend out, but initially it's a little bit patchy. You just gotta really work with it. It's only with a few shades. The rest of them I didn't have a problem with, but the pigment is unreal, and I love Tarte products, and my top 10 favorite products, and this made an appearance, and you all know why I love this palette. It's got the best colors in here, colors that I use for everyday natural looks, or if I'm going to just a casual get together, I can use these eyeshadows and I wouldn't be failed. They're pigmented, it smells like chocolates. Don't ever do this, but I have tried this. I have swatched the colors and licked it, and it even tastes like chocolate. You shouldn't do that though, because that is probably not good for you. So I do not recommend it, although it does taste really nice. Yeah, and the colors are pigmented, creamy, blend like butter. And I love it. It made it in my top 10 favorite products, so what more can I say? Next we have this palette was created by Nikki Tutorials last year, I'm pretty sure. Yes, last year. And this eyeshadow palette also came with mascara, glitter, eyeliner. Yep, that's all that came with it. These shadows are really, really pigmented. The colors are cute. We also have 2 blushes and highlighter as well. And these are pigmented, smells really nice, blendable, creamy, blends like butter. And Nikki Tutorials is also one of my favorite YouTubers, and I was super proud of her, and really happy when she created it. So last two are from Urban Decay. We have the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. This is probably my favorite palette out of the Naked collection. So you have a Naked 1, 2, 3 Smoky, and they released the Naked Heat, which I have not yet gotten, but I do plan on getting it. These colours in here are really, really nice to work with. There are more shimmer shades in here than matte shades, but I love to use this for, this was the first palette I ever used for when I did competitions and performances. I always use T's in the crease, and then I put Snakebite on the outer V in the crease, and then I used Half Baked and Chopper and mix those together and put that on as the shimmer on my eyes, and that was like the look I used to palette. This palette is pigmented. This brush is going to be the death of me. And last but not least, for my favourite palettes is the Urban Decay Moondust palette. I absolutely die for this palette. It's super, super duper gorgeous, and the colours in here are absolutely pigmented, and they're glittery and they're creamy, and they apply on the eye really nicely, but they actually apply better if I wet the brush, or shimmer shadows are like that. So alright, let's move on to the ones that I don't care for. They're a bit of a bust since we're on the whole naked thing. Naked 1, Naked 3, and the Naked Smoky Eye. Now, I didn't really care for these palettes. The pigment just wasn't there. It was really inconsistent, I found, personally, and blending it was really hard because it was really patchy and the colours weren't as it seemed in the palette. I got that a lot with the Naked 3 palette, and so after using them a couple of times, I never picked them up again. They just sit in my drawer. So these guys are a bit of a for me. Next we have the Kylie Royal Peach palette. Wasn't a fan at all. I was quite disappointed with this palette, honestly, because the pigment just wasn't there, and as soon as there's no pigment in a palette or a certain product, bam, it's there. This didn't have it for me, and it was very, very patchy and not really easy to blend at all. So another. Next we have the Kylie's Diary from her Valentine's Day collection. It could have gone in my face, but it could have gone in my ones as well. The only reason why I put it in here because of how patchy some of these colours are, and some of them were pigmented, but some of them were not pigmented at all. We have the top, these three up here were not pigmented at all. We had this pink here, which was really, really patchy. I had this colour here, which was perfect. This colour here was amazing, and so was this colour here. These two I have not yet touched. We could do that now. There's really, okay, this one, this dark colour has pigment. This one here has no pigment whatsoever. Can you see anything? You probably only see that from the light, but in person, like, there's nothing. Like, even on the payoff there, nothing. So this palette was inconsistent, and the blushes were patchy, and the pink is like absolute bright pink, and then the orange actually is like orange. So I did have a bit of a in-between feeling there, but it definitely went in my busts. Next up, we also have another Kylie palette. This was the Holiday 2016 palette. The colours in here were, I don't know, the patchiness was real. Like, these colours were not pigmented whatsoever. There was a little bit of pigment in the darker ones, but the lighter ones nothing. You had to build and build and build and build. Blending them was a pain in the ass because it was so patchy. And I was like, why couldn't you be like the other palettes? Like, why couldn't you be like the bronze and burgundy palette, which I absolutely loved because it was beautiful. The pigment was there and it was blendable. There was no patchiness. Ugh. But, another bus. So this is the first thing I got that wasn't Nutrimetics and I was pretty excited about. And so, at the time I was using them, I thought, these are fantastic. Like I knew what fantastic was. And as I grew and got a lot more palettes, I could tell which ones were the really good ones in pigment and what was patchy and what was not patchy, what was pigmented, what wasn't pigmented, what was blendable, what was not blendable. And I soon discovered that these were not pigmented, patchy, and unblendable. Honey, unblendable and patchy was real. And again, same thing goes for these ones. The darker shades, a little bit more pigment than the lighter ones. So the lighter ones, you have to build and build and build. Ah. So that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and inspired you to see which palettes you'd want to go and buy. The ones I did talk about, I do highly recommend that you should invest in because they're absolutely amazing. But also some of them were limited edition, so they will be unavailable to get again. So that's that. And yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it and if you found it helpful. And leave in the comments down below if you have any video suggestions. They'll be greatly appreciated so we can get more videos happening here with some video ideas. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next one.